Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Okay.
Devi Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called the Virat Rupa. Hare Krishna.
Text 24. Visheshatasya dehoyam yathvishtascha sat vyasam yatedram vayajate vishvam bhutam bhavayam bhavatsat.
This chant is a gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world. As a whole is the personal body of the Absolute Truth, wherein the universal resultant past, present, and future of material time is experienced.
Text 25. Andkoshe sharirasmin sapta varan samyate veraje purusho yoso bhagwan dharnashraya.
The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is the subject for the Virat conception.
Text 26. पाताल में तस्या ही पादमूलम पठन्ति पार्षणी प्रपदैरस्तातलम महातलम विश्व सजो तद्गुल्फो तलातलम वे पुरुषस्य जंगे.
Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets.
Text 27. द्वे जानूनि सुतल विष्णुमूर्ते रुरुद्वयं वितलं चातलं च महितलं तज घनं महीपते नभस्थलं नाभिस्रो गृणानिति.
The knees of the universal form are the planetary systems of the name Satala, and the two thighs are the Vitala and the Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahitala, and outer space is the depression of his navel.
Text 28. Urusthalam jyotirnikamasya griva maharvardhanam me janosaya tapovarati tam viduradipunsa satyam tu shirshani sahashirshana.
The chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is the luminary planetary system. His neck is the Mahar planets, his mouth is the Janus planets, and his forehead is the Tapas planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads.
Text 29. Indradev bahav ahustasatya karno disha shotra mamush shabda nasatya dastro parmasya nase ghranayosya gandho mukh magni ridha.
His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the 2 Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire.
Text 30. Dhyoroshnī chakshurбhūt patanga pakshmani vishona hari ubhecha tadbhuvraj abha parameshtati dishanya maposya taluras eva jihava.
The sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both the day and night, and in the moments of his eyebrows, the Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varuna, and the juice or essence of everything is his tongue.
Text 31. छन्दासनेन तस्य शिरोगणनन्ति दृष्टाशमहस्ने कलाद्विज्वानि हासो जन्म दकारी च माया दुरत्सर्गो यत्पांग मोक्षा.
They say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord, and his jaws of teeth are Yama, god of death, who punishes the sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most alluring illusory material energy is his smile. This great ocean of material creation is but the casting of his glance over us.
Text 32. व्रीडोतरष्ठधर एव लौभो धर्मस्तनो धर्मपथोऽस्य पश्चम कस्तस्य मेढ्र विष्णु च मित्रो कुशी समुद्र गिर्यो स्थिसंगः.
Modesty is the upper portion of his lips. Hankering is his chin. Religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varunas are his two testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones.
Text 33. न दोष्य न देवथ तनुरहानि महिरुहा विश्वतनो न प्रेन्द्र अनंत वीर्य श्रवसितम मातरिक्ष्वा गतिर्वे कर्म गुण प्रवाह.
O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body. The trees are the hairs of his body, and the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature.
Text 34. ईशस्य केशान् विदुर्बुभावाहान् वासस्तु सन्ध्यां कुरुवे भूमना अव्यक्तमाहृदयं मन्श्वर स चन्द्रमा सर्वविकारकोशः.
O best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The terminations of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes.
Text 35. विज्ञान शक्ति महिमा मनन्ति सर्वात्मनोऽन्तःकरणं गिरित्रम् अश्रावशतयुष्ट गजानखानि सर्वे मृगा पश्व श्रोणी देशे.
The principle of matter, Mahat Tattva, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts, and the Rudra Deva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord.
Text 36. वन्यासी तद्वयाकरणं विचित्रं मनुर्मनीषा मनुजो निवासा गंधर्व विद्याधर चाणापसरा स्व सस्मृति सुरानि कीव्रया.
Varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and angels, all represent his musical rhythm, and the demonic soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess.
Text 37. ब्राह्मणानां छत्रभुजो महात्मा विदुर रंघ्रीश्रित कृष्णवर्णा नानाभिधाभिजय गणोपनो द्रवयात्मक कर्म वितान योगा.
The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord.
Text 38. यान सा विश्वर विग्रहस्य यासा निवेश कथितो मे आते संधार्यते अस्मिन् वपुषि स्थविष्ठे मनस्व बुद्ध्या न योतिस्ति किंचित्.
I have thus explained to you the gross material gigantic conception of the personality of Godhead. One who seriously desires liberation concentrates his mind on this form of the Lord, because there is nothing more than this in the material world.
Text 39. स सर्वधिवृत्योऽनुभूत सर्व आत्मा यथा स्व प्रजने क्षितिके तम सत्यमाननिधिं भजेत नान्यत्र सजेद यत् आत्मपाता.
One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth, Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second canto, first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The First Step in God Realization. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, and thank you, Saroj Mataji, for stepping in, and sorry for being late.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Vrindavan Prabhuji. I don't see Vrindavan Prabhuji online.
Jyoti Mataji, do you want to call them?
Yeah, I'm just gonna call now.
Okay, Mataji. Would anybody would like to do the invocation shloka, please?
No response, Mataji. This is ringing.
Jyoti, I think till the time we can at least start with invocation shloka, and you can try. Otherwise, we can try Shriji Mataji. Otherwise, Mataji. Yeah, I can do the invocations. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Sadhbhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Ladita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shirade Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanu Sute Devi Pranmami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Jyoti Mataji.
There's no response, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Till the time we will try to see Jyoti Mataji, and we can try to see if who want to do the class. So by the time we all can please unmute and say Hare Krishna Mahamantra, please. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
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 Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Mamta Mataji will be hosting the class. She's joining in 5 minutes. So by the time, Jyoti Mataji, if you will share the screen, we can start we need the volunteer one by one, and we can start doing the verses and the purport till the time Mataji will join the class. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. So from Jyoti Mataji 33, please.
Yes, Mataji, I just need to set it up. I just need 1 minute.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. We apologize everyone for the inconvenience.
All good, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank
33,
you.
Mataji, did you say?
32, 33 to 37 will be discussed. So let's read that, Mataji, till the time Mamta Mataji will join. Yes, thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Jyoti Mataji, do you want to start first, please?
Yes. So 33 I should read, yeah?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Nadyasya natyatatanu ruhani mahiruha visvatanur narpendra ananta virha swasistam matarisva gatirvayaha karmaguna pravaha. Synonyms: Nadyaha, the rivers, Asya of him, Nadya, veins, Ata, and then thereafter, Tanuruhani, hairs on the body, Mahiruha, the plants and trees, Visvatano, of the universal form, Rupa Indra, O king, Ananta Virhaya, of the omnipotent Swasistam, breathing, Matarisva, air, Gati, movement, Vaya, passing ages, Kama, activity, Guna, Pravaha, reactions of the modes of nature. O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body, the trees are the hairs of his body, and the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of three modes of material nature. Purport: the personality of Godhead is not a dead stone, nor is he inactive, as is poorly taught by some schools. He moves with the progress of time, and therefore he knows all about the past and future, along with his present activities. There is nothing unknown to him. The conditioned souls are driven by the reactions of the modes of material nature, which are the activities of the Lord. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.12, the modes of nature act under his direction only. and as such, no natural functions are blind or automatic. The power behind the activities is the supervision of the Lord, and thus the Lord is never inactive as is wrongly conceived. The Vedas say that the Supreme Lord has nothing to do personally, as is always the case with superiors, but everything is done by his direction. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without his sanction. In the Brahma Samhita 5.48, it is said that all the universe and the heads of them, the Brahmas, exist only for the duration of his breathing period. The same is confirmed here. The air on which the universe and the planets within the universes exist is nothing but a bit of the breath of the unchallengeable Virat Purisa. So, even by studying the rivers, trees, air, and passing ages, one can conceive of the personality of Godhead without being misled by formless conceptions of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is stated that those who are much inclined to the formless conception of the Supreme Truth are more troubled than those who are intelligently conceived of the personal form.
Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Thank you, Mamta Mataji, for joining in.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Dear
Krishna. Thank
Mataji
you,
and
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
No, please don't thank me. Thank you for allowing me. But please forgive me please help me to facilitate this session. We'll try our level best amongst all of us to just go through this 5 or 6 verses. Okay, and I think what we are just we'll quickly do of the introduction prayers first. Is that okay? Has somebody
Mataji,
done the
we did the prayers. We have done the prayers, Mataji.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much for that. Please accept my humble obeisances. So let's try. So coming to, can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, we all can.
Okay. So actually, so basically, this chapter is what we are trying to see as how do we, what is the first step? How do we realize that there is a God here? Yeah. And so there's impersonal form and the personal form. So people people who are not able to accept the personal form, so there is also the impersonal form, but over here that leading us to believe that there is a personal form of the Lord. And how they're describing, by the way, how they're describing, it is not like a small person like you and me. This is like a Virat Purush, is like very, very, very huge and very magnificent form. And each part of the body represents something or the other in this universe. And so Srila Sukadeva Goswami is trying to make everybody understand that um, how the Lord, how he is represented, and what we see are these small features like mountains or rivers or everything. They are parts of his form. So this is what Srila Sukadeva Goswami is trying to make all the devotees and all the people over there to understand. So this chapter is describing, basically, each verse is describing something or the other part of the form. So we are talking about today is text 33, where it says the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body. So veins, what are veins in the body? Veins and blood vessels. So the blood vessels are basically the rivers to the heart, you know. So the rivers are, they carry everything. So they carry all the blood supply, means they carry all the nutrients to the heart. The same way he's saying all the rivers. So the rivers are the main. So without water, a person cannot survive. So it is so important that this part of the body. So they are the veins of the gigantic body. And then they'll describe all the trees. You know, the trees, what part of the body they describe in the trees? As the hairs. The hairs are everywhere on the whole of the body. So imagine, whole of the universe has so many trees. And then the air which we are breathing, that is related to his breathing. So all that air in the universe we see is his breath. And the passing ages, so all the time which goes on is his movement. So whenever he moves, that means kala, the time is going. So that is the movements they're trying to say. And all his activities. So because when the Virata Purusha was formed and all this was formed, it was due to the reactions of these material modes of nature. So any reaction which happens is because of the three modes of the material nature. Now, in that a bit more in detail, Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain that God is not just like, lifeless, like how you see a murti, there's no life in it. But once you start actually doing all your services, your attachment comes to the deities, then you start giving a form, giving life into it. You will see like, oh, my Krishna, I want to do something. Oh, he hasn't had anything to eat. So that attachment slowly develops. But this is what they're trying to say is God is not like even though he stays in every living and non-living particles in this whole universe, but he is also has life and he also has a form. And they're trying to say like he's not inactive, means he is performing every time there is activity going on. So as we know, kala is time, and so we are also conditioned, so we do not remember our past, we do not know what the future is, but the Lord knows everything. So he is the time, so he knows the past, present, and the future. And he knows everything, basically. There's nothing not known to him. And because we are conditioned, we are more reactive people. So when something happens to us, then we take it as a reaction, and then we try to reply, and people who are God conscious, they tend to be more proactive, because they will know they want to do better things. So they will be more who are in the sattvic gun, they will be more proactive. But the passion, the people who are in the rajas gun, they're mostly reactive. And tamas gun are reactive, but late reaction they have. And they're inactive in a way. They will be more or less inactive. So it depends upon which gun a person is, then we react. And the way how we react tells us what sort of a gun we are in, or what sort of a mode we are in. And also, Srila Prabhupada is trying to say is the Vedas say that Supreme Lord has nothing to do personally, as is always the case with superiors, but everything is done by his direction. So every time you hear Lord has already planned everything. So whatever has to happen is all because of he knows everything what is happening, and it is with his direction. So he is the supreme commander, and he is the main person who directs what to be done, what not to be done. He is the origin of everything, so he knows exactly what should be done and what should not be done. And so even they say even this grass also will not move without his permission. So in Brahma Samhita, how Brahmaji will try to describe that all the universes and the heads of all the Brahmas, they only exist for the duration of his breathing period. So as long as the Virata Purusha is breathing, all this will be working. That's what I understand of here. But I can have to go and check back again for this one. The air on which universe and the planets within the universe exist is nothing but a bit of breath of unchallengeable Virat Purusha. So the main thing you have to understand that how the Virat Purusha is, like yesterday, Prabhuji had said, like Virat Purusha is a very huge form, and each limb represents, it's not like only two legs and two hands. This Virat Purusha has multiple arms and multiple legs and multiple limbs, and they all represent something or the other. So we have to, and each of them will, like one represents the mountains, one represents his abdomen, represents something, his chest represents something, his eyes represent something. So every part of his body is attached to the material nature. So what Srila Sukadeva Goswami is making us understand that it is the form of the deity which we should be concentrating upon, and starting from the lotus feet of the Lord. So because some people who are on the formless thing, they, because sometimes they cannot give shape to anything, they become really anxious, or unable to solve the problem. So when we can't solve a problem, we become anxious. Similar way, they can't understand about the Lord, and then they become anxious. But what happens is that when one surrenders to the Lord will automatically give you the intelligence to see the Lord, or to see how things perform, how things function, and how the Lord tries to manage things. So you will have a different way of understanding things. So that only comes with surrender. To such time you don't surrender, you'll be speculating for everything. You'll be trying to challenge the Lord. Oh, how can you do this? Or how can you do that? Or how can this happen? So the more you speculate, the more difficult it becomes for you, because the Lord will be much more further, will be more into distance. If you surrender, the Lord is much more nearer to you. So that is what is the understanding I have got. So let's go to the next verse, if that's okay. If somebody can, if I need a volunteer, just if you can read this verse, please.
Mataji, we cannot see your screen. So because if you can share, Jyoti Mataji has made you host, Mataji.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I'm just going with the verses only, with the Bhagavatam. So let me see if I can get it on the system. Let me see. Oh,
Because unfortunately, Mataji's Jyoti Mataji Wi-Fi is
so can I? So should I read then? Is that
that's
okay?
sorry.
Should I read then?
Yes, but if you can share, then we can volunteer.
Okay. Okay, Mataji. Okay, let me just bear with me. Let me just go into the system and Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 2, chapter 1. So let's go to the verse number 34. So how do I, let me just go and see if with the, so I have to go to, how do I share the thing, Mataji? Please help me.
Share screen, Mataji.
Where will it be? Is it?
The bottom, Mataji. Yes.
It has. Oh, somebody's got it up. Nice.
Yeah, it's there, Mataji.
Thank you so much. So can we just go to 34? Is that okay? 34, there's no purport at all, but just read the verse and then we can just go through the quick. Anybody willing to?
Yes, Mataji, I can read. Is it the translation you'd like me to read?
Mataji, from the verse and the synonyms and the translation. Is that okay?
The Sanskrit as well?
Yes, Mataji, just read so it will be nice to read.
Isasya keshan vidhurambuvahan vashastu sandhyam kuru varya bhumnaha avyaktam ahurharatyam manascha sachandramaha sarvavikara. Synonyms: Ishashya, of the Supreme Controller; Keshan, hairs on the head; Viduhu, you may know it from me; Ambu Vahan, the clouds which carry water; Vasahatu, the dress; Sandhyam, termination of day and night; Kuruvarya, O best of the Kurus; Bhumnaha, of the Almighty; Avyaktam, the prime cause of material creation; Ahuhu, it is said; Hridyam, intelligence; Manahacha, and the mind; Saha, he; Chandramaha, the moon; Sarva Vikara Koshaha, the reservoir of all changes. Translation: O best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head, the terminations of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So in the previous verse, they said like his hair was like trees. Yeah. The trees are the hairs of his body. And in this verse, they're trying to say that the trees which carry water. So the trees, obviously you can, the clouds, it says the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. So there are two different concepts happening over here. When you look at it, this is what I understand. But the trees, obviously, if you have trees, the way how they function, then there is always, wherever there are trees, there's always clouds. I mean, there's always change in the atmosphere and the condensation and the air, all those changes happen. And then you can get rain. So I'm thinking that could be, but I may be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So in this translation, again, they're trying to say like the hairs on his head are like clouds, and the clouds which carry water. So they're like dark, heavy clouds. And the days and nights are his dress. So as we change, the dress is like something like a garment. So the day and night, the changing of the days and nights, or the twilight or the dawn or the changing, that is like a dress. And the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. So anybody who wants to be creative is quite intelligent. So you have to use your mind and intelligence to create. So the supreme cause of material creation is intelligence. So because of the intelligence, all these material things have been created. And the reason for this creation is because of the intelligence, because you got a thought process, you can start creating things, or you want to create things. Mind, now when you come to mind, so we say moon is always, whenever they say about moon, it is the mind, but it is not sthira, it is not always stable. It is always, you tend to change all the time. So moon is very sensitive, and the mind is also, it is very gullible or very vulnerable. It changes, but intelligence is different. I feel intelligence is more with your brain, and mind is more with your heart. That's what it looks like. So it is more wavering sort. But this is all is a reservoir of all changes. So all these are more changeable. So this mind, which is the moon, is the reservoir of all changes. So you can change from one thing to another, or one thought to another. So moon is always, you find everybody in the Shastras or in the Vedas, you'll find it as always wavering. That is what I've understood. Let's go to the next verse. I think it'll be a bit more clarity when we read the next one. Any volunteers again, please, for this one?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I try, please?
Please, Mataji. Thank you.
Vijnanam sakti mahim amananti